We did a survey in November, along with coming to a bunch of community meetings, to really find out like what was on the minds of residents of Barrio Anita. And the thing that came out highest was to get to know each other more. Like neighbors wanted to get to know each other better. It was this dance with the community, and we had to get to know each other, artists and community residents.
It's one of the oldest neighborhoods, and it's overlooked in a way. So it felt necessary to tell a story.
When you interview all the people from back in the day, you know, talking about what the barrio was like sort of at its peak from the 30s through the maybe early 70s. What everybody says was everybody knew everybody. And there was all this intermarriage, and people would, you know, get married and build an addition or another house on the property, and there was just so much safety and sense of belonging and sense of being really tied to this land. And that's gone, right? People don't know each other like that. And so to try to create something that would give folks an excuse to come out and to get to know each other was one of the big goals of this project.
Where did the Barrio Story series idea come from? Is that something that you'd had for a while, or?
It's people like you that come over here and ruin everything that we have settled. I'm a Mexican, very, very proud of it.
We were in graduate school, and we saw precious knowledge. I just couldn't believe that this was happening, and at that time it was 2012.
And we watched it, and we cried, and we're like, we have to do something.
My grandpa and my grandma taught me to be proud that I'm Mexican. And these classes helped me because I actually know my history now.
For someone that's felt so out of place, it feels good to have a home.
The way things were going, I probably would have just left school. Like, this space saved me in a way.
Marc had the brilliant idea to write a play about the banning of Mexican-American studies, a docudrama play.
This is all America, right?
There was a heart at the core of this program.
People who live here in North America tend to...
Not just educating, but giving young Latinos pride, and non-Latinos that were interested in this culture that we're also immersed in, and to take that away simply for political reasons, you know, to get votes, to fear-monger. No, racism, man. You know, racism, I've experienced it growing up. My mother certainly, and grandparents in many deep and horrible ways. And that's, to me, that's what I saw was behind it. And as an artist, this was happening. I just needed to come here and do that work.
It was the one thing that we could do to help as artists, right? It's like the thing that we could do to spread the word.
So we came out just really initially to do this play. And I think there's a part of me that is still saying, you know, I'm gonna put this Mexican-American history out there in spite of the state, who has now been found guilty of being totally racist by banning these classes.
And that was the whole idea behind the Barrio Stories project. It was about honoring and preserving Tucson's Mexican-American heritage.
We try to find as many ways to incorporate the neighborhood, to include neighborhood residents in the making of it, not just like extracting stories from them. In the course of interviewing all these folks, we kept hearing about these backyard celebrations. And this is what people did before internet and probably really before TV took hold. And they would talk about being outside and cooking, there's all this food, and there was live music, musicians, and there was dancing, and it would go to the wee hours. And many people talked about this with big smiles on their faces. And so I was like, okay, well, let's try to recreate one of these backyard parties. We took all the videos when anybody mentioned a backyard party, all the oral history interviews. We put all those clips together, and we projected them onto the tool shed there.
So a lot of them were from they married within the barrio.
So as you walk in, you start to hear from the actual people what these parties were like, and then you keep going deeper in and get to experience a recreation of one. And then you get to hear the elders singing those old boleros. And then switch to a young person doing a poem, spoken word piece about the barrio
For him here in Barrio Anita.
and what it means to them as young people.
Then how do I teach your niños to reach the promised land? You teach them that they are already here. And as they sit with the consejo, they notice the barrio yawn and open its eyes, and it gives the same buenos dias that it's given to our escuela and our abuela for years.
And then the final element was the people, you know, the audience, just talking and enjoying themselves. The other big area of focus was with the 4 giant screens in the vacant lot.
So she was into those things that we take for granted.
That was just straight oral history, you know, just wanting to collect those stories, and then once we had them, you know, how best to present them. And you could gravitate to a certain screen and really like focus in on these stories.
Some of the children that didn't get killed were sold as slaves in Mexico or given to rich families in Tucson to work as servants.
The mariachi stage was in honor of Davis Mariachi, which was the very first after-school mariachi program in Tucson in 1983. That program gave birth to all the other ones.
I was literally running around from place to place, making sure everything was where it was supposed to be. And even through like my going back and forth really fast, I noticed beautiful things here and there, like the video playing over the house.
Almost as if they had all come together to pose for this big photo.
I love seeing the pride. It really does create a cool vibe, right? Like that sense of ownership, like this is our place, like let's take care of it, let's be friends, let's talk to each other, you know, let's populate our underutilized space, which is our neighborhood. If we're proud of where we come from, then we're better humans to each other, right? So at the end of the day, it helps for everybody to know their roots and to understand that they have history and they have things to be proud of.
We're trying to create the most beautiful, the most aesthetically pleasing, the most professional, high production values as possible, but we're working in tandem with community. I can't just be an artist for art's sake. Like, there needs to be a real community building component to all of this. Otherwise, it's not for me.
These streets have held us together and 6 feet above and said, let's jump, let's dance, and never let go of this home.